Morning. Got a few things to do today before we head over to the boat. I need to stop by the lumber yard. I need to get cutters for my multi-tool. And then I also need to grab a couple of 4x8 sheets of just some inexpensive material for templating a couple of bulkheads. And so that's the plan for today. I'm going to get over there and I'm going to clean up the fiberglass tabbing around the old bulkheads. I'm going to continue taking apart around the port lights in the cabin top sides, and hopefully that won't take too long. That's what I need the new multi-tool blade for. And then we should be able to get into making templates to template those two bulkheads. So I'm back at the marina. I was able to stop at the lumber yard, pick up 2 sheets of 1/4-inch Luan 4x8 sheets. Unfortunately, they don't fit in my car, so I had to cut them into quarters. So I end up with 4 2-foot by 4-foot pieces for each sheet. So I'm going to put them back together into a complete sheet here, just with the scrap bits. I'll screw them all together as I go here, and that will create my templates for my 2 bulkheads that I'm working on today. That's not my first project, though. I'm going to finish up where I left off last week, cleaning up the cabin top side. I have a 1/2-inch piece of marine plywood sandwiched between the outer skin and the inner skin of the cabin top. And that plywood is, if you saw last week's video, it's just all rotten, coming apart. And I've got it mostly opened up. But I'm going to continue and finish that up. And then I'm going to go cut all the tabbing back around those bulkheads, cut it clean and flush to the best of my ability. And then I'll template those bulkheads. And that's what we should get accomplished today while I'm over here at the marina. I don't have the material for the bulkheads yet. I do have West Systems 105 and the 205, I think, cold weather fast hardener. I've got 50 inches by 60 feet of 1708 on its way. I've got the mini pumps and the stir sticks, the cups, and the little syringes for injecting epoxy into small holes. So most of that stuff is either here now or it is on its way. And in the next couple of weeks, I should have all that, as well as the 2 sheets of double-sided MDO that I'm going to start building the bulkheads with. So hopefully stuff will be going back together. I'll have something to show you that might look more like progress than what I've been doing right now. Alright guys, we're inside again. Last week's project. I apologize, the light is down the other end because I'm going to be starting my work today down there. But recap for last week. Obviously I got to put a angle on the end of that plywood. The marine plywood where it's bonded to the fiberglass is going to be like at least a 1 in 5 slope, so I can bond those together, scarf those together. This is all opened up. Again, sorry the light is weird in here. I'll show it to you. Those port lights are all the way back to the outer skin. You can see I've cut through the inner skin. There's the skin there. There's the marine plywood revealed on the edge there, under the deck. And the top edge here is the cabin top. That's actually all glass there. I don't know if there's more wood above that or if the cabin top itself is solid glass. I've not got there yet. But here's the edge of the plywood. This does get more structurally sound as we go toward the bow of the boat. is coming that we're getting into cleaning up today. But here's the venting port lights, the ones that open up. They're stuffed in the holes backwards just to keep some of the weather out. But I'm going to work on this plywood, removing it. And I think I'm going to go all the way to the end here, which there's only 2 feet of glass left. So I'm going to cut all the way around that and try to get the rest of this plywood out. It is more firm, but it's still going to go, and it definitely has to go around these port lights here. So I will set you up here so you can watch the show. We'll talk soon.
It's time for a change. I'm tired of that same old words, the same old lines, the same old tricks, and the same old rhymes. It's days, precious days, they roll in and out like waves. I got boards to bend, and I got planks to nail, I got charts to make, and I got seas to sail. I'm gonna build me a boat with these 2 hands. It'll be a fair curve from a noble plan. Let the chips fall where they will, 'cause I've got boats to build. Now sails are just like wings, and the wind make them sing songs of life, songs of hope, songs to keep your dreams afloat. I'm gonna build me a boat with these 2 hands. It'll be a fair curve from a noble plan. Let the chips fall where they will, 'cause I've got boats to build. Now shores, distant shores, there's where I'm headed for. Got the stars to guide my way, sailing to the light of day. I'm gonna build me a boat with these 2 hands. It'll be a fair curve from a noble plan. Let the chips fall where they will, 'cause I'm gonna build me a boat with these 2 hands. It'll be a fair curve from a noble plan. Let the chips fall where they will, 'cause I've got boats to build.
Something that see now, maybe you can see that as well, there are 2 layers here. Yeah, 2 layers. So now we know how that's made up. Good information to have. I'm just going to clean up the rest of this mess. All this is going to get sanded too, obviously. Well, I think it's obvious. It's going to get sanded very clean and roughed up nicely, dry. When I go to put on the epoxy, the plywood core in here, and then glass the whole thing together. And I'm going to probably go along here with that. I told you I got those. Let me show you what I got. These guys right here, they kind of look like a regular caulking tube. West Systems 810 flexible caulking tube. They go in a regular caulking gun. They've got the backing thing, and they're supposed to be reusable. We'll find out how well that works. But I'll put my plywood in. So I'll use this to fill this edge with a thickened epoxy, top and bottom. And I'm going to actually paint the edges of the plywood all the way around, also with the epoxy. I want to make sure water doesn't have that opportunity to get back in. And like I had said before, there's going to be a ring of glass, ½ inch thick, around here. There will be no wood here, it will be back. And that way these screws will go into glass. If I have to put any screws into plywood, into the core, anywhere on this boat, first of all, I'm going to try to avoid it. And if it does have to happen, I will definitely be epoxying those holes. So I'll drill it, epoxy, and then put the screw in with epoxy in place, up against the threads. So hopefully that'll prevent any moisture from getting into that core. Well, I didn't get quite as far as I'd hoped to today, but I did get, you can see the lighter shiny spots where the tabbing went in the bulkheads. I got those all cut back and cleaned up all the way around. I couldn't get a flat enough spot here to be very accurate with all this pieces and parts that are all piled up. So I'm going to template those. The next time I come over here, I'm going to do a pretty good, serious cleanup. We've got a mess. I'm not sure if there is a dumpster here at the marina or if I just got to take it all back home with me, but need to get rid of some of this mess and get reorganized. And then we'll be ready to start putting things back together. So that is all I have for today. Well, I could show you the mess I have in the car. Yeah, I'll show you that real quick. Alright. So here's the bulkhead remnants. I have a pretty small car, but I was able to, they're in pieces, so I was able to get them in there. And you can see the 1/4 inch luan underneath there. I cut those into 4 pieces as well, so they're going to need to be tacked back together to make the actual template. So I'm going to get these templates as close as I can to correct. And in areas where I've got some questions, I'll leave them oversized. And then we will scribe them in on the back end when we get back over here. Then they'll be able to use them to map it out on the actual bulkheads.